Hello viewers, I'm Paper and Ink Games here, and I've got a new video and a new game. So I know that most of you probably thought this channel was dead, and with good reason since I haven't posted in 3 years. And maybe that I had moved on to perhaps more popular, socially acceptable hobbies. But no, I'm back. And a lot has happened while I was on hiatus. I actually had to change my channel name, awkward story there, and I've gotten over 1,000 new subscribers, so thank you for that. But anyway, here I have a new TCG called Night Fleet Tactics. Right now it's not a complete set, and this here is mostly a tester product. As you can see, this version has a few errors. Most obviously, the proof layer on the box is still on, but these are all already fixed on the Game Crafter. So if we look at the back, it says, "This is not just a game. This is a challenge of skill and wit, used at the base of the Stronghold Resistance to test recruits' abilities to strategize and calculate on the fly. Those who master this game will go on to join the most important and powerful Stronghold fleet, the Night Fleet. The skills tested, those of mathematical prowess and memory, may seem arcane in the world of technology, but if Stronghold is to defeat the Western Alliance, their pilots need every advantage they can get." Then it says this deck building kit comes with 3 copies of each of the 9 unique hand-drawn planes, 15 of each of the 3 maneuver cards, and 3 health tracking die counters. So let's get to opening this up. I actually got this idea for this card game because I was writing this fictional semi-dystopian story where the basic premise of the book kind of follows this girl who goes to this Stronghold organization to be a pilot and fight against this large and oppressive Western Alliance. And the only way they can do this is by flying these planes super discreetly because the Western Alliance is much more powerful than their organization, so they're kind of using that, like, really hit-and-run tactics to just try to take down this government organization. So running with that idea, the world building for the game actually came quite naturally. So if we open this, we can see that we got our cards and our dice, and the cards actually have a bit of that coating that's like makes them slightly waterproof feeling. I was just testing it out to see if I liked it. It's okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with it. So let's just sort out these cards really quick, and I'll fast forward through that. So we're back, and I've sorted out the basic maneuver cards, which are the basic card that you use to command your planes and play the game. And I'm noticing here that I slightly ordered the wrong amounts of each card for ideal playing. There's a few too many of the fire cards and a few too few of the others, but we've adjusted that, and it shouldn't be a problem in any of the future versions of this product. So our first card is called Full Power Acceleration, and basically this just accelerates your plane in any direction that you want based on its power and its weight, and you can orient it in any direction to indicate which way you're accelerating. So the next card we have, the next maneuver card we have is called Fire. If we take a look here, it's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, if there's a ship in any one of the spaces around you, like basically you orient it in the way that you want to show which way you're firing, then it'll deal 1 damage to that plane. Now the next card we have is called Steady Acceleration, and basically this always accelerates you 1 in any direction that you want. And you can see I've done this. The art is actually watercolor with pen outlining the planes, and it actually goes to the full edge of the card, so there's no border. I was just trying out how the style looked. So leave a comment down below what do you think? So now that we've got all our copies sorted out, we can take a look at our first plane, which is S2FO2 Squadron Plane, and it has 0, that's weight, then speed, then health, so 022. For each other S2FO2 Squadron Plane you control, this plane gets plus 1 power and plus 1 health. Then the next card we have is called S1F27 Nightwing. It's a 2/4/2. This plane's attacks do 2 damage instead of 1. Then there's some flavor text. It says, "There was nothing quite like it. Flying solo in a Nightwing, flying too far from base to get radio communications. Peace and tranquility at match 5. So then our next plane is the S-34C-300 cargo plane. It's a 224. It has the resupply ability, heal all damage off planes in a 1 block radius. You might think you're just flying cargo, but no, you're saving lives. The next car we have is called Canyon Wing. It's a 143. The Canyon Wing was an experimental plane for Stronghold. They had doubted the model would catch on, but Stronghold had failed to remember a very important demographic: thrill-seeking teenagers in the canyon-riddled Northwest. Okay, so then our next card is called S4 Explorer. It's a 123. It has the new information ability. If an enemy plane is within a 3 block radius, target plane gets +1 to any stat for 3 turns. And the flavor text is that an Alliance bomber? From the Explorer pilot. Then we have the S4 Greensburg float plane. It's a 123. It has a land ability, and that basically means if the plane is stationary for 3 turns, it's invincible. Here we have the S2 F-13 Space Ray. It's a 161, so basically it's just a super fast plane. And you'll notice that this game has like some old-fashioned planes, some more military planes, and that kind of diversity just fits in with the story that it's their main form of transportation, so they need lots of different types. Then we have the S3 T-42 Hex plane. It's a 233 with the bomb ability. All planes in a 2 block radius take 1 damage. They don't ask on the application if you have the capacity to drop a bomb, kill hundreds, and still sleep at night, but they should. And then we have the S2 T-45 Golden Bird. It's a 252, and it has some flavor text there. These flavor texts all kind of play into the book that I was writing, so it was pretty fun to write them, though they are a bit cheesy. You can read them if you want. I'm not sure if the font is super readable. We might fix that later. So that's all the cards that I've made so far, at least like fully printed out and such. I'm planning on making some more and basically probably expanding the game. I was thinking about adding some more types of maneuvers and such. Yeah, and I was thinking that these dice could be used to keep track of the health of each of your planes, because it slowly decrements, but I'm not sure if this will be included in the final product. It's pretty cheap, they're like 20 cents a die or so there's really no harm in doing it. Yeah, but anyway, I was thinking about adding some new maneuvers, basically making the game a tad bit more complete, adding some more planes, some more abilities, some more synergies and archetypes that you could be working with, and possibly like simplifying the rules. Right now the rules make the game like pretty hard to just get into because it requires a pretty good memory and like ability to calculate things to play well. Like I can kind of do it, but it's pretty hard. I've never played a trading card game that's this hard to play, so I might change the rules to make a couple different modes and at least have some more that are a bit more accessible. So yeah, we've got all our maneuver cards. I'm also thinking about changing the colors to make it a bit more visible. And the last thing I'll do is I'll go over the rules of the game, which I have the rule booklet, and I'll just go get that. So if we look at the rule booklet, you can see, well, I haven't quite figured out how to print it properly, but this was just the first test, and we've got the pages here. You can read them, but I'm just going to explain the basic idea. The basic idea is that you have a grid of, like a grid, it's a 15 by 15 grid, and your planes are like navigating around this grid. And you'll usually play with 1 to 3 planes, though it gets really hard when there are more than 1 plane for each player. Because the basic idea here is you can't actually see the 15 by 15 grid. You just play down the maneuvers that you're doing on your planes, and you just have to calculate yourself where they would be on your grid and where your opponent's plane is in relation to your plane. So this makes it so you have to basically remember things and calculate things fairly quickly to be able to play strategically. And I'm imagining in competitive play, like, there'd actually be some sort of timer, so it's kind of like blindfolded chess is the target demographic here, so it's definitely not for everyone. And the basic movement is like physics-based, so the planes will have acceleration and velocity, and every turn you'll update the plane's position based on the velocity. So the basic idea to win the game would be that you outmaneuver your opponent by being better at keeping track of where your plane is in relation to them until you can finally confuse them and then come in close enough to shoot them and they couldn't shoot you in time. So basically then at the end of the game you'd have to like write out on paper what happened, or I was actually developing a program where you could like either like take a picture of all your cards or just type them in and it would like show you a recreation of your battle. So that's all that we have for the product so far. We've got the dice, the rule booklet, and enough cards to make several different little playing configurations, like different like fleets, and all the maneuver cards that you need to play. So you can actually get this set and buy. I fixed, the few errors that I've pointed out on the Game Crafter. You can actually buy this, and if you want to try it out, you'll be a tester and you can send some feedback. But I'm thinking definitely about changing a few things about this game before I finally release it, and adding a lot more cards. The last thing I wanted to say is that I'm working on finishing this, and I've got one other idea for a pretty cool trading card game concept, which I might play around with. And I've got a third thing, which I'm making a online trading card game in Unity, which is that 3D software that's used to make Hearthstone and Magic Arena. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.